Hey cruisers, welcome back to Cruise Report. Today we're going to talk about our 4-night cruise on Carnival Venezia. So just a couple of weeks ago, Ricky and I went on this 4-night sailing of Carnival Venezia from New York City to Bermuda. Just one port. We've been to Bermuda many times. And just so you know, this is our 140th cruise and our 10th Carnival cruise. And we've always really enjoyed Carnival. We do a lot of small ship, luxury ship type reviews. You know, we do all kinds of cruises, and we've always enjoyed our time on Carnival. Always thought they were a lot of fun. Generally, have always enjoyed the food on Carnival and the entertainment. So, as I mentioned in my last video, we were a little apprehensive on this sailing because we had watched a review. We'd watched a couple of reviews of people that had been on Venezia. We did watch Jason and Alyssa. I think it's ECCC or EEEC. I'm not sure which it is. I apologize. Travels. I'm sure many of you follow them and know who I'm talking about. And they had mentioned a lot of observations that kind of raised concerns for us because our coverage generally focuses on how cruises are for adult couples, especially mature adult couples traveling alone without kids, without families, not in a group. And so we were curious how this would fit that. I mentioned in my previous video, we don't do a lot of 3 or 4 or 5 day cruises for a couple of reasons. Number one, we live in Dallas, Fort Worth, and it takes a lot of effort to fly to another city. Usually have to get get a hotel room because we always go in the day before just to be safe. And it's just a lot of trouble for just 4 days. And we were also concerned that Jason and Alyssa had talked about the crowds and the long lines and the noise and the lots of kids. And, you know, that just is not usually conducive for an mature adult couple to have a great time. Anyway, in this review, what I did is I picked out, and the other reason, I'm sorry, let me back up. The other reason we don't generally do 4-day cruises is it just doesn't give us enough time to experience enough of the ship to do a really thorough review. We usually need at least 7 days, especially on a large ship like this, because I'm usually going from 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, we go to bed early, as you'll find out in this review, but I'm usually up pretty early, getting pictures, shooting video, trying to get areas of the ship that aren't crowded before, you know, the crowds accumulate. And of course, when we're in port, I'll usually spend time on the ship getting video and photos. So what I'm going to do on this review is I'm going to talk first about what I consider to be, for us, and it's not going to be the same for everybody, but for us, an adult, mature couple, us, what were the things we thought were bad about this trip? What were the good things, the things that we thought were good about the cruise? And then there were some split decisions. There were some things Ricky and I didn't quite agree on, which is not uncommon. And then there's a couple of unknown items. And I'm going to go through the unknown first. Then I'm going to talk about the bad things because I want to end on a positive note, talk to you about the things that we thought were very good. Unknown. Entertainment. We did not go to any shows. It's the only part of the ship, I think, that we did not see at all. We didn't even step foot in the theater. Partly because it is a 4-night cruise, and there's a lot of reasons for it, but generally most nights we ate in specialty dining, and we got out pretty late, and we were so full and so tired we just didn't have the energy to go to a show. We would have fallen asleep in the show. Usually on a 7-night cruise, we might go to a very early dinner if we're going to go to a show, and maybe even eat a light dinner, and then go to the show, but we just didn't see the entertainment, so I can't tell you anything about the theater entertainment. You'll have to get that information elsewhere. I'm sure if it's like other Carnival cruises we've been on, the entertainment was fine. We also can't tell you about these late night parties. They had at least a couple of theme parties. They had a white hot night party or hot white night party, and out by the pool one night. I heard it was very lively and very fun. We just don't go in for that sort of thing. Again, we're just not big on crowds. They also had, I think, another kind of dress-up party. I'm not sure what it was, that I heard a couple of people saying some good things about. So, Carnival always does a really good job with parties and fun and, keeping things lively. We did go to the Sail Away, sort of a Sail Away celebration party. And we started with the pool on the aft deck, on deck 10, the aft pool. And I have never seen a pool on a cruise ship that crowded. It was unbelievable. I've never seen that many people in a swimming pool. Now, we did walk midship toward the midship or Lido pool, but we were basically sailing out of New York City, so we were kind of focusing more on the Sail Away, but we could hear the music, we could hear the cruise director and the DJ or whoever was making noise, and it sounded pretty lively. So they had a lot of stuff going on. We ended up going down to our balcony because turns out the Statue of Liberty was on the starboard side of the ship, the port side of the ship. No, starboard side of the ship. So we ended up going down and sitting on our balcony for Sail Away because the Statue of Liberty, turns out, was going to be on the starboard side of the ship, which is where our stateroom was. So we thought, why not just enjoy our balcony and enjoy the Statue of Liberty from there? So we did. Embarkation kind of gave us a little bit of a hint of what was coming because it was super, super crowded. We showed up to the minute on time for our scheduled arrival at 11:30 in the morning. The lines were already very long. I don't know that I've ever seen a line that long for embarkation on a ship of any size, and we've sailed on some ships that are bigger, like Mardi Gras. However, I will say that Carnival did a good job of managing the crowd. They had logical, queues and lines set up where people could navigate through, and it moved pretty fast. They actually, I think, did as good as they could. It took us just about an hour from the time we arrived until we stepped board on the ship. Now, we traveled on this cruise with just carry-on luggage. We did not pack a big suitcase. We just did our rollerboards, and for 4 days, we were fine. We were able to do that just fine. So let me talk about what were the things that were bad. Well, I gave you a hint with the long lines like at embarkation, and that kind of carried through the whole 4 days. We saw a lot of long lines on the ship. We heard that there were 5,000 people on this cruise, which is a lot for a Vista-class ship like this. And for those of you that don't know, Carnival Venezia was a ship that was previously under the Costa flag or the Costa ownership, which is a Carnival brand, and Carnival brought the ship over to the Carnival fleet, leaving the Costa stack in place. So you can still see the history. And for those of you that don't know, Costa is an Italian cruise line owned by Carnival. And so the whole idea behind this concept is it's Carnival cruising Italian style or fun Italian style. And so they're trying to give it that Italian flair because you see the Italian influence throughout the ship in the decor and in a lot of other areas and other ways. But the long lines were prevalent throughout the ship. Now, part of that could be because Costa, even though this is a Vista-class ship, it's virtually identical platform to Carnival Vista and Panorama. However, Costa kind of put their own spin on it when it came to designing the interior spaces of the ship. They did make some changes. You'll see similarities, but to us, almost all of the spaces felt smaller than Carnival Vista or Panorama, especially the pool deck, the Lido pool, because they've built all these structures around the outside of the pool. The pool itself feels smaller. There's just not as much space around the pool because you've got this pergola bar up on 11. You've got Rococo down below. You've got Java Blue Cafe, which usually is on deck 5, but they've moved it up to the pool deck. I think it was on deck 5 on the Vista class. So if I say something wrong here, please correct me in the comments. I'm just winging it. We saw some lines at the main dining MDR one night. I've never seen lines that long on a cruise ship for main dining. It was unbelievable. We happened to step out on our balcony while we were docked in Bermuda, and we just noticed as people were coming in from their shore excursions, and I'm telling you, I have never seen a line of people waiting to get on a ship that long. Bar service, very, very slow. In fact, I only saw a bar waiter or waitress one time the entire cruise, and that was in the Punchliner Comedy Club Limelight Lounge. They did have a couple of waiters taking drink orders and delivering drinks. Every other bar we went to, we had to go to the bar to get the drink. We didn't even see a waiter or waitress taking drink orders, so you pretty much had to go up to the bar, and there was a lot of people sitting at the bar most times, like out by the pool. There was, I think, somebody taking drink orders out by the pool on embarkation, on sail away, but it was like one waiter is all we saw, and they were swamped. So we walked up to the bar to order a couple of drinks, and it took probably 20 minutes to get our drinks. Next thing was the casino. Very stingy. Not as crowded as we thought it was going to be, but very stingy. There also, in reference to the number of people on board the ship, there weren't as many kids as we thought there were going to be. I think Jason and Alyssa said there were 500 or 600 kids on their trip. We saw a few kids, but not huge numbers like they had on theirs, thankfully. So we didn't really experience kids running up and down the halls and causing any issues. Just wasn't. We didn't see any fights or any brawls or any bad behavior by people. Dress codes are all over the place. People pretty much dress the way they want to. But other than that, it was pretty much just crowded and long lines and slow bar service. The next bad thing is going to be the buffet. I mean, I'm sorry. Carnival just has one of our least favorite buffets. We're not big buffet fans anyway. We just don't really care for it. But we really don't like buffets where you have to serve yourself, because I don't like picking up utensils that hundreds of other people have grabbed and touched. And I stood one afternoon at lunch, and I just stood and observed people going through the buffet line. Now, Carnival has put a sink with soap and a sink with paper towels and sanitization station right next to it, where you can sanitize your hands or you can wash your hands before going into the buffet line. I watched for maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and I saw probably 15 people go through that section of the buffet line. Not one single person washed their hands, and nobody used the hand sanitizer. I just have a problem with it. And, people will grab the spoon to put something on their plate, and they'll lay it back down in the pan of food, and the spoon will drop down and actually hit some of the food that's in the pan. It's just, I'm sorry, it's unsanitary. I don't like it. Ricky doesn't like it. We're just not fans of the buffet. I prefer Holland America's method, where they actually have people behind the line serving the food, putting it on the plate. So, sorry, I'm not a big fan of the Carnival buffet, which is the Lido Marketplace, in case you're wondering. It's a huge buffet, and when it's fresh, the food didn't look too bad. It looked okay. I mean, especially breakfast. I did notice one day at breakfast they had no bacon. They only had ham and some sausages, but they didn't have bacon, which I thought was a little unusual. There's also, you can get breakfast out aft on deck 10 at the Seafood Shack. They have a breakfast service out there you may not know about. So if you don't mind, and you could sit outside and dine al fresco if you wanted to. It's kind of on the, I think it's on the starboard side of the ship, kind of in the same area where you'd find the pizza place. We did go to the MDR one time, and that was the Canal Grand, I believe they call it, dining room. We did have anytime dining, even though we only ate there one time, and it was actually a sea day brunch. We did not go there for dinner. The food was meh, not great. It was okay. I just had a chicken Caesar salad that it was just okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. Ricky had eggs Benedict, and again, it was just okay. The eggs were actually cooked okay. They weren't real hot, and the service was very slow in the dining room. But I think the biggest problem we had was we like to sit at a table for two, and they've got the tables for two so close together with the other tables. I don't know that it's that much different than sitting at a table for 8 or 10 people. I mean, you only have about a 4 or 5 inch gap between your table and the table next to you. So if you want to have any kind of private conversation, it's pretty much impossible. So we weren't huge fans of the MDR. We did mostly specialty dining. I mentioned earlier that Java Blue Cafe is up on deck 10, kind of in the same area where Blue Iguana Bar would be on the other Vista class ships, and very, very long lines. I didn't even get a chance to try the Java Blue coffee. The pricing I thought was reasonable, pretty much in line with what you would find on any cruise ship, maybe even a little better pricing. But I wasn't willing to stand. There must have been 30 or 40 people in line in the mornings when I went up there, and I just wasn't willing to spend the time. I already mentioned that the pools seem smaller to me than the other Vista class ships. At least the Lido pool does. And unless I am mistaken, I think Venezia, does it have it looked to me like it had a roof over the pool, like it could be closed. Now, it was open during our cruise, but it appeared like it had that collapsible or retractable, I should say, roof over the pool. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments down below, but it appeared to. The whole pool area there just looked much more compact than what I recall from other Carnival cruises we've been on. Okay, there were some areas that Ricky and I just didn't agree on. I call these the split decisions. In most cases, she thought it was bad. I thought it was good. Pizza del Capitano. I've always liked Carnival's pizza, and I thought it was good. She just didn't like it. It's just one of the areas we don't agree on. I think Carnival has one of the better pizzas of the mainstream cruise lines. I think the biggest split decision between us was the ship's decor. I thought it was a little leveled up from the Vista class that I've been on before. Ricky thought it was more tacky. I mean, yeah, it's got that kind of Italian, Roman, or Venetian, I should say, design decor, which is a little over the top, but I thought it was well done. I thought it was tastefully done. I thought it kind of represented the Italian flair, like the Grand Canal or the gondola in the dining room and the big pillar like you'd see at St. Mark's Square in Venice, in the main lobby. I thought they did a really nice job with it. I think it looks nice. I'm okay with the decor of the ship. I thought it was a pretty ship. Ricky wasn't as big a fan as I was. Okay, now let's talk about the good stuff. What was it that, for the most part, she and I both agreed were good? And there's a lot more good about Carnival Venezia than bad. One thing that we thought was very good was the Carnival Hub app worked well. We didn't have any trouble at all using the app. We thought it was pretty well designed, has a nice daily schedule. We also like the fact that they still will offer you a printed Fun Times, the little printout of the daily schedule, so you can carry one around in your pocket if you don't want to take your cell phone with you. Really like that. Also like the fact that if you're in main dining, you can kind of reserve a table and the app will alert you and let you know when your table's ready. Very, very nice feature. I think we use that on the Mardi Gras as well when we had dinner there. Carnival does an excellent job with all their games and their daytime activities, their trivia contests. They have the best trivia of any cruise line, and we do a lot of trivia. We play a lot of trivia. We actually won 6 different trivia games, believe it or not, and we got 5 of the medallions that go around. They don't have the ship on the stick anymore. That's a bad thing. No split decision there. They need to bring back the ship on a stick, but they did have these little medallions. And the reason they say they don't have the ship on the stick was a supply chain issue. The company that made the ship on the stick, I guess, I don't know if they went out of business or they're having a hard time getting them, or maybe Carnival's just cutting costs. I don't know. Bonsai Sushi was the first night we ate in Bonsai Sushi on embarkation day. Always good. Have always had good luck at Bonsai Sushi. I think their sushi is as good as any I've had on any cruise ship. I don't care if it is a 6-star luxury cruise ship. Bonsai Sushi has the best sushi at sea, especially their spicy tuna roll. Amazing. Very good and very reasonably priced. The Kakuni appetizer, the little beef short rib, oh my gosh, it's just amazing. The edamame is good. Ricky had the shrimp tempura, which I thought was okay. She thought it was a little bit greasy. We have in the past had their noodle bowls, which are excellent, very big, very filling, and delicious. So, love Bonsai Sushi. Big thumbs up for that. It's always good. Now, our last night on board, we had reservations at Bonsai Teppanyaki. We've done this, I think, 3 times on other Carnival ships. It is as good a teppanyaki as you'll find anywhere. You're not going to find better teppanyaki than what you get at Bonsai Teppanyaki on Carnival. They really do an excellent job. Chefs are very entertaining. It is very noisy in there, I will tell you that. It gets loud. And but the food is excellent. You walk out of there just stuffed. It's just a lot of food. We talked about it in our daily blog. If you haven't seen our blog, by the way, check out our website, cruisereport.com, where we write a daily blog every day while we're on these ships, and we go into more detail with photos and stuff. So we talked about our experience at Bonsai in our blog, but highly recommended. It's $38 per person, worth every penny. It's a bargain. It's one of the best values, I think, on Carnival. We had dinner one night at Il Viaggio, which is their Italian specialty restaurant. It's the only ship in the fleet that has this restaurant, and it was very good. I really enjoyed it. I had this big, huge Berkshire pork chop that was grilled and cooked to perfection. It was delicious. Ricky had a beef short rib pasta. I think it was rigatoni. I'm not sure about that. Very, very rich, very filling. She would have probably preferred just having plain old spaghetti and meat sauce. But this is an upscale dining experience. I think it's like $42 per person. But if you're interested in Italian, if you like Italian food, this is very upscale Italian. And I was very impressed with it. I thought it was excellent. And the dessert, if you're going to have dessert, get the Mile High Gelato Pie. You will thank me. This huge serving, and it was delicious with salted caramel going down the side. I think there was a chocolate flavor, a coffee flavor, and a vanilla gelato all stacked up. It was amazing. It really was. On this trip was our second time to try the chef's table on Carnival. Now, the chef's table is kind of the ultimate dining experience. If you're a real foodie and you really love good cuisine and something interesting and creative, and we've done chef's tables on, I don't know, 4 or 5 different cruise lines. And hands down, Carnival has the best chef's table experience of any cruise line that we have had the opportunity to try. Now, this is an event. I mean, this is something that starts like at 6 o'clock, and it's probably going to take you 2 to 2.5 hours to complete. Tremendously extensive menu, very, very creative. The dishes are over the top. I mean, they're works of art, and they really do go into a lot of extreme preparation. Presentation is amazing. The chef comes out and explains every course and every dish so that you know what you're eating and how it was prepared. It was just, we did this on Panorama back in 2020, and we loved it, and we wanted to do it on Mardi Gras, but we couldn't get in. It was full. So we were very fortunate. I think they did it every night on this cruise, so we were very lucky. I think it's limited to maybe 14 people. You sit in the galley. Basically, you're dining in the galley, so there's active, stuff going on while you're eating. It's very energetic and very fun, and I highly recommend it if you're a food person. Now, it's not inexpensive. It's like $100 a person, but it will be a meal that you won't soon forget. It is a memorable experience and something that everybody should maybe consider trying, because the food is out of this world. Preparation, presentation, and entertainment that goes along with it is really top notch. Okay, the last thing I'm going to mention that we both thought was very good and to maybe even excellent was the Wi-Fi. I did not have any day where I could not get the Wi-Fi to work. It was pretty fast. It was good enough. Now, I hear a lot of cruise vloggers talk about how bad the Wi-Fi is on cruise ships, and I've done the same thing. I don't expect a cruise ship's Wi-Fi to support uploading videos to YouTube. Okay, that takes a lot of bandwidth. That's a heavy lift for a cruise line's Wi-Fi system. It's nice when you can do it. I enjoy it when it's available, but as long as I can go to websites, do my blog, upload some photos, do some of those types of things with relative speed and efficiency and reliability, then I consider the Wi-Fi to be good. Now, they did have Starlink on this ship. We saw the antenna. I assume it's Starlink because we saw the antennas up around, I think it's deck 12. We had the premium package, and you can use it on one device at a time, but it's actually pretty easy to switch devices. So if you're using your cell phone and you want to go use your laptop and connect, you just basically, they tell you how to do it. You go to this website and you can shut down the phone and turn on the Wi-Fi on the computer. So let's talk a little bit about our stateroom. Now, we were in 7491, which was at the far aft starboard side, almost at the very back of the ship. I think there were 2 other staterooms behind ours, and it was a standard balcony. And because it's a 4-day cruise, I didn't take the time to measure. I usually take a tape measure with me, and I measure the dimensions of the room and the balcony, and I'd usually put that on for you. But again, 4-day cruise, I just didn't get it done. Okay, the things we didn't care for, again, Carnival uses the hinged doors on the balconies, and I'd much rather have a sliding glass door than a hinged door for a couple of reasons. The hinged door, people cannot figure out how to not slam that door. And when it slams shut, it shakes. Your next door neighbor's door slams shut. It shakes the entire stateroom. So if in the middle of the day you want to take a nap, and your neighbor wants to go out on the balcony, and I don't know why. Why is it some people, they go in and out of that door like every 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. They keep going in and out. I don't get that. Ricky and I, when we go sit on the balcony, we go out, we sit out there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then we go back in. But we don't go in and out 10 times in 30 minutes, but they do. And every time they do and the door slams, it shakes the walls. I've given up on cruise etiquette. I've given up on people trying to educate people on not slamming doors. It's the same with the stateroom door out in the hallway. When you come into your stateroom, if you just let the door close, it will slam shut, and it's annoying as hell. We're very, very courteous, and we're very careful to hold the door and pull it shut slowly so that it doesn't make that slamming sound. But other people aren't going to do that. They're just going to let it slam away. And we did have people coming into their staterooms at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because they were out at the parties or the bars or wherever. And they're talking loud in the hallway, of course, because I'm sure they've had something to drink. And it wakes you up. If I had not had my Bose noise-canceling headphones, I don't know how much sleep I would have gotten. The room was noisy, not because we could hear our neighbors next door talking or anything like that. It was the slamming doors in the hallway and the slamming balcony doors. There's no more room service menus for breakfast. We looked for them when we went to our stateroom when we checked in, and our stateroom attendant told us they don't provide those menus anymore. You have to use the app if you want to order breakfast room service. On one nightstand, there were 2 USB ports. One was labeled high power and another one had no label. And on another nightstand, there were no USB ports, no AC power. There was actually no AC power on either nightstand in our stateroom. There were lamps, and they were nice to provide light. There was USB at the desk. Couple of USBs, a high power and a regular, and there were a couple of AC. One was a 220, but we carry a 220 adapter with us so that we can get 110 plugs on that 220, plus our adapter I think it has 4 USB ports on it. And if you're interested in that adapter, we use them all the time. I'll put a link in the description of this video. If you're interested, you can get them on Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive. And then we also had the 2 USB ports that were at the desk. Now there's another AC outlet, another 220 outlet, but I believe it's an Asian or Chinese style. This ship was originally configured by Costa for their Chinese itineraries, so they outfitted it with this Chinese style plug, which I didn't have an adapter with me, but we didn't need it. We were able to get by fine with all the adapters that we had. Oh, and in case you didn't know it, most of your electrical devices or electronic devices, you can use 220. You don't have to use 110. For example, your phone chargers, your computer chargers, and most of these items, if you look on the label on the back, it'll tell you, or if you're like a battery charger for a camera, they'll all run fine on anywhere from 110 all the way up to 240 volts. Now, as far as the balcony, it was a little bit cramped, but not bad. We've had smaller balconies. They did have 2 chairs, and both of them would recline. You could recline them. There's nowhere to put your feet. A little bit of a split decision on the bed. I liked the bed because I like a very firm mattress, and this mattress was pretty firm. Ricky didn't care for the mattress or the pillows. I slept fine, other than the noise, but I was able to use my headphones. Now, the television was nice, but the programming is I think it's been pared down since our last Carnival cruise. I didn't see any major news network channels. Usually you'll have BBC World, you'll have Fox News, maybe CNN, maybe MSNBC. I didn't see any of that. I think there was one CBS channel, there was a travel channel, there was the Food Network, and maybe one other, like a sports network. And then all the rest was on board, their shipboard programming. And they did have a lot of movies. They had some, I wouldn't say they were new, but we rarely watch movies on cruise ships. Some of them were free, some of them you paid for, but they had a fair selection of movies. Now, the closet space was pretty much like we've had on other Vista-class ships, and it's very adequate. Plenty of space, especially for a 4-day cruise, but plenty of space for a 7-day cruise. I like the fact that they give you real wooden hangers, and they're real hangers. They're not the captive type hangers like NCL uses. Our stateroom came with bathrobes and slippers. Plenty of space. There's a little bitty safe in the closet, not very big. There's like 3 drawers for storing, like a dresser where you can put, your socks and underwear and stuff like that. There was a little mini fridge, and I will tell you, it's the coldest, or one of the coldest refrigerators we've ever had on a cruise ship. Usually these things are lukewarm. I mean, they barely get anything cool. Now, the bathroom is small but functional, pretty much like you would find on other Vista-class ships. The vanity is more of like a little piece of furniture with a sink in it than just the standard vanity you see on other Carnival ships. While that looks nice and looks very Italian, it does waste space because there's 6 or 7 inches on either side of that vanity. Kind of goes to waste. It's just open space, and if that was extended out, you'd have more space to put stuff on that vanity. As far as the shelf space, there's 3 shelves on each side. One side had a little bit larger shelves than the other, but there was plenty of room. We didn't have any issues. There was also a large shelf underneath the vanity where if you had a few extra things you wanted to store, you could. Best part of the bathroom, first of all, it has a soft close toilet lid. So if you get up in the middle of the night, you go to the bathroom, you go to close the lid, it doesn't just slam shut. That's nice. Little touch. Best part of the bathroom was the glass door on the shower. No shower curtain. Thank goodness for that. Carnival did, or Costa, whoever did it, did a nice job with the shower door. The shower's reasonably large. It's large enough. It's comfortable. However, they only provided a combination shampoo and body wash, not separate body wash and separate shampoo. Kind of wish they would do. I think that might be a Costa thing that got carried over onto this ship. There was also no hand lotion provided. But to their credit, good job Carnival, they did provide a bar of soap, a nice size bar of soap on the vanity, which I was able to use in the shower too. Good job. A lot of cruise lines have given up on bar soap, and I love bar soap. Okay, so what is our takeaway from this 4-night Carnival Venezia cruise? What's our final assessment? As we suspected, 4-day cruises just really aren't our thing. We felt a little pressured because we like specialty dining. And so for us, we had to have specialty dining almost every night because we only had 4 days. Normally, we might split it up. We might have gone to MDR one night, or we might have skipped dinner one night, maybe had a big lunch and just skipped dinner, gone to the show, something like that. We felt like we had to do something every night as far as specialty dining so that we could talk about it and report on it. Carnival's still a fun cruise. No question about it. If you want fun, this is the place. As far as for mature adult couples, at least like us, it probably wouldn't be our first choice to go on a 4-night Carnival cruise. If we're going to go on a Carnival cruise, we'd much rather go on a 7-night where we have more time to experience more things. Hopefully, we'll be able to go on the Carnival Jubilee when it comes to Texas. Since we're in Texas, we're only 3 or 4 hours away. We'd just drive down to Galveston and get on the ship. Like I say, it probably wouldn't have been our first choice, but we had a good time. We always have a good time on Carnival. Also, before I sign off, I'll let you know that we will, in a couple of weeks, be going on the Viking Polaris, their expedition ship. We're very excited about that. Great to be back on Viking again. Excited about that. So make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, because I post every day during these cruises photos and updates and what we're doing and just all kinds of cool stuff. And then, of course, we'll be doing videos on Viking Polaris. It's a Canada-New England cruise. And then in September, we will be going on Crystal Serenity. Now, this is the relaunch of Crystal. So we're very interested to see what's happened since they've relaunched this luxury cruise line. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe and ask for notifications so that you know when we post new videos. Thanks again for joining me today, and until I see you the next time, smooth sailing.
Yoda.